Hi there, guys. For today's lesson, we are going to be talking about similes and metaphors and diving a little bit deeper with figurative language for this unit. At this time, you should have your guided notes out in front of you along with your pencil. We are going to go ahead and get started with figurative language. Now, when we're talking about figurative language, oftentimes those are going to be expressions or phrases that we use in our daily language. We often see these in the form of song lyrics or in poetry or in novels. And for today, we're going to be practicing really just focusing on similes and metaphors. So, what is a simile? A simile compares two things, typically people or objects, and they're always going to be using the words like or as. Now, the big thing to take away with similes is that you are comparing two unlike objects with one another, okay? Two unlike objects. So at this time, take a look at your guided notes for me. You'll notice that you have a couple blanks there. The first thing you want to make sure you put down is that right after the word simile and compares, you want to make sure you write down the words two things and then in parentheses, people, objects, etc. So go ahead at this time and fill in your guided notes for me. And we will go ahead and take a look at some examples here. So one example that we're going to start with is the caterpillar ate leaves like a hungry monkey eating his bananas. So when we look at this, is the caterpillar a monkey? No, we definitely know that those are very two different animals or insects. We're just comparing to show how he is eating to a monkey, okay? So we're not saying that a caterpillar and a monkey are the same thing, but we are saying that a caterpillar is eating a leaf just as a hungry monkey would eat a banana. Okay, so that's where the comparison is. Now, as for metaphors, what is a metaphor? A metaphor is like a simile. It compares two things, but it does not use the words like or as. So that's the really big giveaway here. If you're looking at any kind of comparison, but you do not see those words like or as, that's a good indication that it's a metaphor. Okay? A simile would say you are like something, whereas a metaphor is going to say that you are something. Where similes use like or as, metaphors use words like was or is or have. So keep that in mind. Your metaphor example. The butterfly was an angel floating toward the sky. Now, is the butterfly literally an angel? No, of course not. We're just comparing how he is flying to the angel. Okay, so that's the commonality between the two unlike things, people, or items. All right, for this part of our example and lesson here, we're going to go ahead and see how you do. See if you can tell whether this statement is a simile or metaphor on your guided notes for me, okay? The first one, the butterfly was as colorful as a rainbow. So is that going to be a simile or a metaphor? The butterfly was as colorful as a rainbow. What I want you to do at this time on your guided notes is write down if you think it's a simile or a metaphor. And you can take a pause here if you need to. All right, let's see what you think. All right, this is definitely a simile. In this case, we have the word as being used as our comparison. That's our big giveaway that this is a simile. Okay, we're comparing the butterfly and a rainbow, indicating how colorful it is. Let's take a look at the next one. For this one, the butterfly is a zebra, spotted black and white. What do you think? Is it a simile or is it a metaphor? Go ahead and write it on your guided notes or on your whiteboard. Okay, let's see. This is definitely a metaphor. You can see the word is going to be used here instead of like or as. We're not saying the butterfly is like a zebra. We're saying the butterfly is a zebra. Now, those are two very unlike things, okay? So that's why we are going to call that a metaphor. How about this one? The butterfly's wings are fragile, like newly spun spider webs. Now when we look at this, remember to look for your key words to decide if it's a simile or a metaphor. You can pause the video at this time while you jot this down on your guided notes. Okay, let's see how we did. This is a simile. We have the word like here. In this case, we're going to be comparing the butterfly's wings to a newly spun spider web, right? They're both pretty fragile things, but they are both very different as well. For the next one, the butterfly is a princess walking daintily across the flower. So when we look at this, we need to kind of ask ourselves, first of all, what two things are being compared? In this case, we have a butterfly and a princess, but what word are we looking for? You're either looking for like or as for a simile. If you don't see like or as, you know that it's a metaphor. So in this case, that's going to be a metaphor for you. Okay, let's try this one. The caterpillar is like a baby waiting for its metamorphosis. Now, is this going to be an example of a simile or a metaphor based on our understanding and our definition that we've written down in our guided notes? You can pause the video if you'd like. The caterpillar is like a baby waiting for its metamorphosis. So we know that this is a simile. We have a comparison using like or as. We see the word like in here. And that's going to be our conclusion of our really quick figurative language lesson.